Hello, beautiful. How are you doing today? My name's Chantel. Welcome back to my channel. I'm so happy to have you here. Today, I want to talk about. I just started my moon, and moon is a term for your period. And in honor of this, I want to talk about what my moon means to me and what I do to honor my moon. Or my period, whatever you want to say. They are one and the same if you are curious. So, little backstory that I think is really relevant here, and that I think that a lot of people can also relate to, is I got birth control, an IUD birth control, when I was like 17 years old. I'm currently 27, so a decade. I got it taken out within this last year. I don't think it's been even a full year yet. And so if you don't know, birth controls, especially IUDs, can really mess with your period. They can make things very different. And for me, I hardly had any symptoms. I had barely, a super light flow, almost non-existent, no cramps, no nothing. I had no relationship with my moon. It was like not even there. So when I got this taken out, I got it taken out, like I said, less than a year ago, and for personal reasons, and wanted to track my cycles, was using a natural birth control instead of using hormones to do that for me. And my period was completely different than it had ever been, like, that I remember it being, of course, when I was like 16 or 17 when I got it, because it still was really light, not a lot of cramps, all that kind of stuff. And I had a whole new whole new relationship with my moon, because the first few days are actually really heavy. Right beforehand, I've had times where I get a lot of cramps, where it is something that just makes me stop at the gym and cringe and can't finish. A lot of fatigue and just wanting to, naturally feeling like I want to rest and do nothing. All of the normal things, little bits of headaches. I get really bad backaches right before. I get all these symptoms usually right before. So yeah, it was something that I was not used to. I didn't have a relationship with my moon previously. So this was a time in my life where I was, of course, also going through my spiritual journey. I really, really dived really deep into this by doing some womb healing in Tulum, Mexico, which was really healing for that specific reason as well as others. But it allowed me to have a relationship with my moon again. And it made me realize that we really shame our periods. They're seen as gross. They're seen as just this thing that you need to just stuff a tampon up there and just move on with your life. Obviously, hopefully, no men are watching this. It's gonna freak them out. But, and just pretend like it doesn't exist. But there's actually a lot of beauty behind our periods. I mean, our bodies are literally renewing themselves. They're getting rid of all of the toxins, all the bad things that are going on within us, all through our womb space, all from this place that births creation. And it's a blessing. It is a beautiful thing that you can match this with the intention of getting rid of emotions, getting rid of bad habits, getting rid of anything. It is a really good way to attribute, more than just getting rid of toxins and stuff like that. You can really give it the intention for more. And when you give something the intention like that, I think it is built for us women to be able to match an intention with it, and to shed energies and to shed emotions and anything that we need to shed for that month along with it. And it is a beautiful thing. So reforming that relationship was difficult for me. It did take a little while, and it took me, with these new symptoms, not feeling ashamed of it, and not feeling like it's something I have to hide, or that I need to just carry on with life as I normally do and completely ignore it, like many of us do. it has taken me this last year to really honor my moon, to really know what my body needs, what it's naturally telling me, and to not assume any guilt to come along with it. So if anybody can relate to that, just drop it in the comments and we can start a conversation. But throughout this experience, this is the things that I do to honor my moon now, because I know it's what my body needs, and you might need something completely different, but hopefully this does shed some light on you. So I am very deep into the lunar phases and what each phase of the moon means. I did a video on this that I can tag here if I can figure it out anyway. But each moon phase does something different to us energetically. But when we are in our moon, this is where our physical bodies are at, and everybody's bodies are in a different, state. Even though, you've heard, when you spend a lot of time with other women, you guys can sync up your moons together, which is so interesting. But when we are in our moons, we are in this state of renewal. We're renewing our bodies. Our bodies are doing a lot right now. They're getting rid of all the toxins in our bodies and the things that we're not using for this month. And you can match it with an intention, like I said, of ridding yourself of, emotions that you need to cleanse for yourself throughout the month as well. It's an intentional time that we are physically reminded about our divine feminine, about that power that we have within us, that it's there, that we can't just ignore it. We have this powerful creation, and it's literally magic to give birth to a child, right? But we can birth so much more than just that, and to me it's a reminder of that as well, that we have this powerful creative energy within us that we can choose to ignore and just go on with the habits of life, or we can really, really connect with and really, really utilize. So for many, I think for everybody, this is a time for rest, because we are recharging, we are renewing, we are, like I said, getting rid of energies and getting rid of things in our body, and resetting ourselves. So for me now, as opposed to before, I never knew that it existed, and as opposed to people that do have their periods and just move on and pretend like it doesn't exist, except for maybe they're a little more moody. My body calls for rest a lot, physically, just it's a without a doubt type of thing. It's the last period I had, I literally just did not want to get out of bed, and I just straight up said it to my boyfriend. I said, I am gonna be in bed all day. I didn't even know when exactly I was gonna start my moon, but I just felt like I just needed to be in bed. And it wasn't like I was sad, or that I was sleeping the whole time or anything like that. I just read and wrote and watched movies and snuggled my dogs and all of these things, and it was great, because my body was just telling me, this is what you need to do, this is what I need. And we have to listen to our bodies, or else we're not going to be able to renew the way that we need to, or that we should be. So honoring rest is the number one thing that I do for myself, and I think that all women should do for themselves during their moon. And this brings up a lot of other factors as well. And that is really what is our relationship with rest? What's our relationship with our moons? And it kind of goes hand in hand with this idea, because this is why we push it aside and pretend and just go on with life, What is our relationship with rest? Because they kind of go hand in hand. If we deny rest in our lives, if we feel like we have this need to go all the time, get all of our masculine action things done, and totally ignore the feminine energy, and are super goal oriented, and it never shuts off, and you gotta be stressful, and you're you're chemically fusing this addiction to stress in your brain. Yes, you absolutely can do that, and I've seen people that do this all of the time. It's so sad. But But if you're in this state of mind, we refuse rest. We think of rest like this, not doing anything for a few hours or even an hour or even less maybe for some people, not doing anything, like anything at all. Maybe you were just like sitting on the porch watching the birds. There's this like feeling in our minds that's like, oh my gosh, I'm being so lazy. I need to go do something. Like I'm not being productive. What the heck? I need to be productive. If I'm not productive, I'm not going to be successful. I'm not going to get anything done. People are going to see me as a failure, blah, blah, blah. All these things go on in our minds. And we feel this, we connect rest with laziness or guilt. Guilt for feeling lazy, for resting. And that is why we have the masculine and the feminine balance. Feminine being the rest and renewal, ease, grace. But when we don't honor our rest and our feminine, we don't honor our moons with the feminine energy, all going hand in hand here. We feel that guilt. We feel that guilt for resting, for giving ourselves space, for giving ourselves stillness. And this is why like things like silent retreats or just COVID, when COVID began and like everybody was quarantined in their homes and we couldn't go out and we couldn't do anything, a lot of people broke down. A lot of people began their spiritual journeys. And a lot of people probably were met with traumas of their past because, they didn't have anything else to distract their minds or their nervous system. Besides, like, you can only watch so much TV and drink so much beer. I mean, maybe that's how people ignored the things that were going on within them, is by distracting themselves even more so. But that's what all of this stuff is like, we feel like we need to distract ourselves so that we don't have to feel the emotions of what's really going on deep in our subconscious minds. If you stand still for too long, you do breath work for too long, you meditate for too long, or you sit and you read a book for like way too long, all these things that have to do with stillness and not like physically doing anything productive, I'm using a lot of these, then we assume it with guilt. I used to have this as well. And I will say that as soon as I went on this journey of honoring my moon is when I was able to also build a relationship with honoring rest. It totally went hand in hand with me. Because rest is needed to actually put our 100% energy into our masculine actions, to our goals and our work and all of these things, this task list that we have to do, because what matters most above anything else is how you feel when you're doing it, because that's going to actually be what you get out of it. Because if you are feeling just depleted and stressed out doing all of these things, then you're not infusing that with a good energy and you're not putting your best energy into it. And just like when you talk to water, there's like a study, that when you speak good affirmations to water, you literally change the molecular level of the water, and it becomes beautiful when you speak good things to it, and it becomes all just ugly when you speak bad things to it. Same concept here. Going even deeper, because I just have to. You have to think about the fact that we are made of... I am not going to spit out some dumb number because I don't 100% know, but some ridiculously high amount of water in our bodies. And just thinking about that, the things that we tell ourselves, how that changes the molecular structure in our bodies and in anything that pertains to any water. Or just plain energy, if you really want to get into it. But we could have something completely separate for that. So if you feel like you don't get shit done because you're not like action, it could be the exact opposite, because you're not allowing any rest to come in. You're not allowing yourself to recharge, renew, and be able to put your best energy into the things that you actually need to do, that are task-oriented, goal-oriented, whatever. So I want you to ask yourself the question, like, what is your relationship with rest? How do you honor rest? How do you not honor rest? Do you feel guilty for taking a long bubble bath? Or shutting yourself in a room, or being completely alone in your home for hours? And not cleaning and doing dishes and doing laundry and painting and working on all this stuff when you're not doing those things. What's your relationship with that? How do you feel? Do you feel guilt? Do you feel shame? That goes very deep into how we are programmed in society to feel. So it's not like it's your fault. This is very, very, very common, and it's a journey to unravel and rewire for yourself. And a lot of people won't want to do it because it brings up where this all started from in the first place. You know, where you were told in society or within your family or wherever that you needed to be busy and hustling to become a successful woman. And sometimes this can bring up some very harsh pasts. Same with anything that you want to heal, anything that comes up to you habitually, subconsciously in your mind. A lot of people will not dive into it to heal it because it's not easy. It opens up old wounds, and a lot of people don't want to do that. So a lot of people, it's easier to ignore it and just go on with their ways. So I honor you now for diving into this, if this is what you choose to do, or even just being curious as to how to break that habitual chemical connection with guilt and rest, where it formed, how it formed, and beginning your journey to unravel it. And a lot of the times it's forcing yourself to just rest, if anything, too much. I know I have been in this like state where I am like tinkering on the edge of being like, am I feeling guilty still? Or like, am I just literally in my feminine way too much? Because I honor rest so much. But it can also be like the things that you want to manifest into your life can come with ease. They can come in a restful state, in a peaceful state. Depends on what you want to do and how you want to go about doing it. How you feel is the number one important. So it's talked about a lot of different things, not just, just all straight up your period. But I do hope that this gave you some insights on how to honor your moon. And a lot of it, like I said, just doing with rest, giving your body what it needs. I don't force myself to go to the gym on the days where I'm like bleeding more heavy or the days before, because it's just not necessary. My body's telling me to slow down. And it doesn't matter if you were kind of slowed down before that. You know what I mean? Like, you can't just have a few days to yourself, a few days in rest, and a few days in, these kind of resting, and then your period comes and you're like, well, no, I can't keep resting. You're like, yes, you can. It's okay. So I hope that this has shed a new light on you and your moon, your upcoming moon, how to build a relationship with it, and how to build or rebuild, rewire your connection with rest. So I hope to see you guys soon. If you like this video, please like it, please comment, and if you want to see more videos like this, check out my other stuff, and click that subscribe button. Bye, guys.